Hello and welcome to the virtual screencast of the Grade 8 Parent Information Session. If you weren't able to join us on our parent evening, hopefully this will help answer a lot of questions that you might have. This is just a picture showing you where Brooklyn High School, from a long time ago, where it has come to where it is now, to our beautiful facility that we have located right in the heart of Brooklyn. First, we'll start with the land acknowledgement. The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories upon which our school board and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms a part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Mississauga peoples, and the treaty territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. The Durham District School Board recognizes Indigenous rights are distinct. In the exercise of those rights, Indigenous staff and students shall not be subjected to actions with the aim or effect of depriving these distinct rights. And the Durham District School Board is committed to learning environments that are safe, welcoming, respectful, equitable, accessible, inclusive, and free from discrimination while placing human rights and equity at the center. So welcome to our family of schools. If you are from Brooklyn Village, Blair Ridge, Winchester, or Hatfield, you are considered to be our family of schools. Welcome to Brooklyn residents that perhaps live in Brooklyn but attend a different DDSB school, Pringle or Meadowcrest for gifted or French immersion. Welcome to our Brooklyn residents that might attend a different school board, perhaps the Durham Catholic School Board or private schools. And welcome to future residents of Brooklyn. If you are not sure if Brooklyn High School is your school, please fill in the Find a School locator linked here. We do only accept residents of Brooklyn, and when you are registering with us, which I will talk about after, you will need to prove residency. Just some Brooklyn High School info. Currently, on this day, we have 1,347 students. We opened in 2015. We are the newest DDSB high school. We follow the same footprint as Maxwell and Donald A. Wilson. We have 12 buses that come from the surrounding community. We are bus zones 3 and 4. We are a community school, so walking is highly encouraged. Parking is at a premium and is only allowed for staff and grade 12 students that have parking passes. We have about 100 staff, including admin, clerical support staff, and teachers. So we are a mid-sized high school in the DDSB. Our administrative team, our principal is Ms. Mackenzie. She's new to us this year. Our vice principal is also new, Mr. Demaray. He follows the alpha A to L. And Ms. Bratton-Sevic, who joined us last year, is M to Z. So if your child has an alphabet last name of A to L, they'll deal with Mr. Demaray. M to Z, they'll deal with Ms. Bratton-Sevic. And by the end of this presentation, we hope that you'll know what high school will look like. It does look a little different from when you and I went to high school. Learn how your child will pick their courses and learn about all the ways we support your child in achieving their goals. So what does high school look like? Well, to start off, guidance at Brooklyn High School is very, very, very important. I am Natalie Morgan Cook. I'm the head of guidance, and I've been the head of guidance at Brooklyn High School and Donald A. Wilson. So I'm very familiar with our community. And obviously, I adore our community because I followed Mr. Palmer when he opened Brooklyn High School in 2015. At our school, we have grade counselors. So the alphabet VPs do not delineate by grade, but the counselors do delineate by grade. So if you have a child that is in grade 10 currently, for example, Mr. Howlett is their guidance counselor, and he will follow them until they graduate. And guidance counselors take care of your child's academic, social, and emotional well-being. And we're the primary contact for you. Your child could have upwards of 30 teachers in their lifetime at high school, but you'll have one guidance counselor. If you have a sibling who's in another grade, then they'll have a different guidance counselor. So that's 2 points of contact for you. But your child will get to know their guidance counselor very well. Ms. Schossenberg is the current grade 12 counselor. With confidence, I can say she will graduate in June and she will move to the grade 9s. If your child's part of our family of schools, she's already met you and has made contact. What will their day actually look like? Well, there's been a lot of things that are still to be determined. That's the theme of the last 2 years. It has been put forth that our start time will be 8 a.m. That's 8 a.m. and it will end at 2 p.m. Historically, we've always started at 8:10 and ended at 2:10 or 2:15. So that's not a big change. It is a big change from the current 10 to 4 that we're in now. But this time, 8 to 2 allows our children to have jobs after school, be involved in extracurricular activities without missing a lot of school. And the day does go, and believe it or not, they really do get up and are in class at 8 a.m. So it does work out okay. Every period is 75 minutes in length. And depending on what the day looks like, they'll have a 40 or 50-minute lunch. So not a lot of time, just enough time to eat and hang out with their friends and get back to class. And when we do know what the day will look like, we will advertise that. I'll get to communication later on, but we will advertise that. So what is high school all about? Students earn credits. Each course is worth 1 credit. There are half credits, for example, but they equal up to 1 in a semester, and that's not until grade 10. There are 4 credits in a semester, and 8 are earned by the end of the year. So they have 32 chances to get the 30 credits that they require for graduation, hence why some grade 12s have spares. So semester 1 runs from September to January. Semester 2 runs from February to the end of June. And we are in a semester system. No more quads. There are 30 credits that are required to graduate. 18 are compulsory and 12 are optional. They get 8 of these credits, compulsory credits, in their grade 9 year. So lots of the course requirements are met in that year. And then every year that they proceed through high school, they have more option choices for electives. All of these documents are attached in the Choosing My Success document, which will be available on our website. All of these graphics, sorry. To graduate, they also require 40 hours of community involvement, and you can start that the summer of your grade 9 year. So when you finish grade 8, the very next day, hopefully you can get your 40 hours. There's lots of opportunities from grade 8 to 9 to do that, and much better to do it then rather than when you have a job and find it harder to fit that in. Students must also pass the provincial literacy requirement. They'll get lots of support for that. In grade 9, they also write a provincial math test, but that is not a graduation requirement. There's also 2 credits in e-learning that students must get to graduate. However, there's been lots of discussion around that at the ministry level, so we are not promoting that until we have more information. And as we learn more, we will let you know more. How do you make an informed decision? There's so many options. So the DDSB has set up a pathway program for students. It's called Choosing My Success, and at the core center of that is that all students can be successful. Their success comes in many forms, and there's many paths to success. This is about intentional planning around students choosing their grade 9 classes. All students transitioning to grade 9 will make thoughtful course selection choices reflective of their commitment to their own potential in high school and beyond. And we want to make sure that all grade 8 students, have the opportunity to learn about their strengths and interests and all the pathways that there are for them after high school. Recently, the ministry has decided to DStream the core courses that are offered in grade 9. Recently, they started with math this year. Next year, they're going to be DStreaming grade 9 science. So grade 9 math and grade 9 science are going to have new curriculum around DStreaming. English, geography, and French will be retired for the applied codes. So those will be considered inclusive academic. The goal of DStreaming is to remove any barriers that students might have to being successful in choosing their pathways. Previously, 59% of students who took grade 9 applied math transitioned into post-secondary within 7 years, compared to those that transitioned into post-secondary in academic courses. So we feel that it's too early for students in grade 9 to choose the pathway that they're going to be in. So they are DStreaming and creating inclusive academic to remove any of those barriers so that we have a chance to get to know who the student is in high school before they choose a pathway. This just gives parents and students and teachers more time to figure out who the grade 9 student is and how they will best be successful in high school and beyond. So what are the different pathway options? Well, as I mentioned before, there are many pathways to success. We could all leave for Toronto at the same time, and some of us might get there shorter, faster, Some might take a different way. Some might be more direct. There are many pathways to success. It's important to recognize that when we're thinking about our children and where they're going to go in the future. The DDSB has created these documents, as previously mentioned, to show you ways that you can support your child in the transition from grade 8 to grade 9 and the different options that they are now giving them to support removing barriers to their success. One thing that we still have is locally developed. So in grade 9, they have inclusive academic as their choice or locally developed. This is not a choice that should be taken lightly. Locally developed is not to be put in place of what previously was applied. Locally developed suggests that students are missing key fundamentals from their learning in grade 8 that they're going to be needing to be successful at the grade 9 level and beyond. Perhaps your child has had modifications to their work and they're working below grade level. If this is the case, and this is something that you need to discuss with the teacher, the CERT, the pathway counselor, your school admin, and they'll discuss it with the team at the secondary level, that if locally developed is the right thing for your child to be successful moving on into high school. As mentioned before, they're going to have inclusive grade 9 academic courses. This is an umbrella term created by the DDSB to support students having barriers removed. So English, geography, and French are all going to be inclusive academic. We actually did this for geography this current school year and have found great success. There are open options. That means that the expectations are appropriate for all students. There are the arts, business, health and physical education, social science and humanities, and technology, which I'll speak about specifically to Brooklyn High School. And remember that the math and science are going to be DStreamed for grade 9. Previously, a student would have had to choose academic math in grade 9 to take academic math in grade 10, and that put up a lot of barriers to them moving forward in math in high school. So I'm very excited to see the barriers be removed and to see how successful students can be given an equal playing field. So I speak a language. It's called course code. It's the least useful language I'm convinced of. However, it's the language that I speak. So course code, decoding a course code is quite easy. The first digit has to do with the department it's from. The fourth digit has to do with the grade of the child. So 1 is 9, 2 is 10, 3, 11, 4 is 12. And the fifth digit is the pathway that the course is offered in. So for grade 9, you'll see D for inclusive academic, W for DStreamed, O for open, or L for locally developed. You're not going to encounter a P for applied until grade 10. And the last digit is just how it is offered. Finding the right pathway choice is perhaps the most important one in high school. And again, as I mentioned before, I'm very happy that we don't have to focus on choosing between academic and applied. When students are in the right pathway moving forward from grade 9 to 10, it means that they are going to have more self-confidence. They're going to have more engagement, which is more success, which means they're happier. And as you know, a happy student is a happy child. So that's what we're all working towards, to make sure that they are in the correct pathway for them. They're challenged, but not overwhelmed. And at the end of grade 9, we'll have a better sense of where your child should be, which pathway they should proceed upon. And that's a great discussion for you to have with their guidance counselor. So how do you choose your courses or pathways? So for our family of schools, they have this Choosing My Success plan that they follow. They complete their IPP through My Blueprint. If you are not part of our family of schools or attending if you're attending a different board right now, you will not have access to My Blueprint. You perhaps might have access in your board, but it doesn't connect to our board. But I will touch on that after. So for our students that are part of our 4 family of schools, they follow this plan with their grade 8 teacher, their grade 9 guidance counselor, and their pathway counselor. All of our students in the DDSB have a copy of this personalized course planning tool that pre-populates it with their information. So parents, this is an excellent place for you to see if they are being modified at grade level or below grade level, which will help you choose locally developed or not choose locally developed. It also lets you see what their learning skills are, and some reflection questions at the bottom to help guide their choices. This is what we focus on in terms of career life planning process, the who am I, The what are my opportunities, the what is my plan, and who do I want to become? And it's cyclical because children continually evolve. We like to focus on the who rather than the what. There are lots of what's in their life in terms of what they can be, but we like to think about who they can be and marry the who with their strengths and interests, which will then formulate an idea for the what they want to be. And this is just a snapshot of the different pathways. So if your child does start in locally developed, it's not there's nothing saying that they cannot move over to the DStream into academic pathway. They just have to do so within grade 9 again. And if they do start out in the DStream, they all will, other than that, they all will start out in the DStreamed and academic pathway. And then after grade 9, they decide if applied or academic is where they should proceed to. And you can see the various paths that those lead to after each of those choices. But again, we will be in consultation with your child about which pathway we recommend for them based on how they do in grade 9. And again, this is just a shot of my blueprint and how they follow the process of exploring and building on their interests and their pathway and formulating a plan. And all of these documents have been created to support you and your children through the 4 years of high school and beyond. And these are posted on the DDSB website, and they will be posted on our Brooklyn High School website as well. If you're part of our family of schools, you would have already received the Choosing My Success document. So students that are part of the DDSB currently right now in our family of schools, very easy to log in. They all know this. They've been using this program since grade 7. They log in. They add their courses, they review them and submit them, and it sends an approval email to the parents. So please make sure that they put an appropriate address in. We can't monitor that. And the parent then approves the courses via the email. If your elementary school would like you to submit the paper copy, then you must do so. At Brooklyn High School, we are paperless, so we will not be getting any of those copies, but the elementary school admin and teacher must approve it. So if they want the paper copy, you'll hear from them. Again, this is only for our current DDSB family of schools. Please choose thoughtfully for both our DDSB family of schools and non-family of schools. The electives that your children request, we create for them. Student voice does drive the timetable, and the availability of programs is limited based on what they choose. So please make sure they take time to read the course descriptions, to ask their teacher about the course options, to ask Ms. Schossenberg about the course options, and to really explore what they could potentially be interested in. In grade 9, they choose 6 classes which are compulsory: English, math, geo, French, science, and gym. And here's a list of the options that they come in. So for English, French, and geography, they're inclusive academic. There is a locally developed English option, a locally developed math option, and a locally developed science option. And we have DStreamed math and science. And there are 3 physical activity options for them: a sport-based course for those that identify as female, a sport-based course for those that identify as male, and then a rhythm and movement class for those that that identify as anything, actually. It's not a gendered course whatsoever. And in grade 10, 11, and 12, we also have a variety of options for students in phys ed for different identifications. So when they're choosing a gym course, they have to choose one of those 3. They have 2 elective classes to make up part of the 12 that they must have to graduate. And for grade 9, we have a variety of those. And they also need to choose an alternate. So the options that they have to choose from are they can choose 2 from this chart. So drama, instrumental music. It's not a requirement that you know how to play a musical instrument, but it's really helpful if you do know how to read sheet music and have some sort of understanding of music. Visual arts. There's music creating, so digital music if you don't have a music background. There's vocal music for those of you that are interested in singing. Introduction to Family Studies. They'll introduce you to all the different type of family studies courses we have: food and nutrition, sewing, social science and humanities, a wide variety. And then there's a business and a computer studies course tied with a tech course. So they spend half the semester in a business course and half the semester in a tech course. So please make sure that you read the descriptions about each of those so you get a better understanding of what they are, and choose 2 of them. Then you also need to choose 1 alternate. And again, this is where in my blueprint, they can read what the course is all about. And for those of you that are not part of our family of schools, we will provide you with this information when you are choosing your classes. So how do you get support? What if you need help? Well, that's what guidance counselors are here for. You also have subject teachers. If your child has an individual education plan, then we have our inclusive student services, which is also known as special education or academic resource. There are tutors, there's student tutors, professional tutors, there's after school help. We have our SLAM program, which is student leaders and mentors, and that pairs grade 10, 11, and 12 students with a grade 9 homeroom for a semester. And they do various community building activity with them, and they can answer questions that they might have. They are way cooler than we are. So we like to use student voice to facilitate as much growth in the student population as possible. Excuse me. We also have literacy and numeracy support programs around our EQAO test. So there's lots of options to get support. Academic resource, just to speak a little bit more about it, Brooklyn High School's CERTs attend the IPRC reviews for grade 8s. So you'll see one of our CERT teachers at the IPRC review. They regularly update the IEP each semester and do reviews. They're available throughout the day for course-specific support in a safe space, maybe to reset. We also have that in guidance for our mainstream students if they need it. They also work to support students from 8 to 9, 9 to 12, and beyond. And if your child is coming to us from another board with an IEP, then we will also make sure that they get services as well. We just have to identify them as having an IEP, and then we can get them the supports, but I will speak about that. Also, technology at Brooklyn High School. Every student in the DDSB has a Chromebook from grade 7 on. So if your child's coming to us from a family of schools, they keep their Chromebook. If they're coming to us from Pringle or Meadowcrest, which is also part of the DDSB, then they would also keep their Chromebook. If they are coming from another area, then they are to leave their technology with their previous school. And when they come to us, they will get a device issued to them. We use Google, so there's lots of practice with that. All of our teachers have Google Classroom, same with our guidance counselors. We also use D2L. Hardware and software support is offered by Mr. Hennekeman. He's in the library at all times. If your child's having a problem, we fill a help ticket in and he will deal with it immediately. If there's just computer questions around the use of the computer, Mr. Beggs, our librarian, is also incredibly helpful. And our Inclusive Service Department has accessibility assistive technology for those students as well. So there's lots of support around technology in the building as well. So what does high school feel like? It feels amazing. This is just a snippet from last year, pre-COVID, of all of the things that we had going on in the school. And it's not even conclusive. There's lots more on there. So every year we advertise the options that kids have for clubs and activities that they could do at lunch to be connected. School is so much more than just curriculum. There are lots of sports. There's lots of intramurals. There's lots of activities. There's lots of things going on every day of the week for your child to be engaged in. And we highly recommend that. School is way more than just about being in a classroom. It's about the whole experience. We are so lucky to have such a beautiful facility. Brooklyn High School is quite a stunning school. And as if you live in the community, you know what a wonderful place it is to have your child go. If you've had students come here before, we are incredibly proud of our facility, and we are confident that your kids will enjoy their time here. So if you're currently not a family of schools student or family, no problem. I put this equal sign here to let you know that not to worry. Just because you're not part of our family of schools doesn't mean that you are a second thought for us in terms of the course selection. If you are part of our family of schools, you'll complete course selections using my blueprint as mentioned. If you're a DDSB student that's attending Pringle or Meadowcrest, and you live in our area, then after you verify your address with the secretary at your school, they will change your next school indicator to Brooklyn High School. So if you are thinking of moving to us from Gifted or French Immersion, speak to your current elementary school and they will change it for you so that you will see Brooklyn High School in your My Blueprint. And if you're not part of our family of schools, you register through the DDSB for the 2022-2023 school year. Please don't register for this school year. It's happening right now. You're going to register for the next school year. Once you are registered, we get that information. Once you put in your registration request, then our guidance department will be in touch with you, asking you for next steps in terms of verification. Once your address is verified and all of the other documents we've received, then we will be in touch with you about picking courses for a Google form. Right now, as you might have noticed, I've not mentioned any dates. There are no dates set up as of February the 7th, my apologies, for course selection. If we know or when we know when course selection timelines are coming out, we will absolutely communicate that with you. So currently our Brooklyn High School students do not have a deadline, neither do our non-family of schools. So please just be patient. The DDSB is trying to sort out what it's going to do with DDSB at home and how that's going to roll out next year. So there's been the brakes put on the course selection process. So please don't worry. I know this is normally the time this has happened. So if you have students that you've registered here before and you're probably getting a little antsy, please just breathe, trust the process. We will be in touch. Right now, there is no timing on course selections. So it's just on pause. So don't worry. Here's a little bit more about the non-DDSB registration process. Even if you attended a DDSB school from grade 1 to 7, let's say, but for this previous year, grade 8, you were not in the DDSB, then you are still considered a new student. So you must fill in the new student registration form, and that's located on the DDSB website. Once the information is submitted, we receive it, and then we process it, and we let you know. When you're filling in that information form, if your child has ever had an IEP with our board or in another school board or a private school, you must indicate that. We have no way of knowing that your child had an IEP unless you self-identify. And we can't start the process for you of identification in our board if we don't know that you previously had an IEP. So please make sure that you click off that box on the registration. After verification of information, we will be in touch with you with course selection information. So please trust the process. We will be in touch. Coming up in May, we'll have a family of schools and non-DDSB family of schools virtual tour. We will post that on our website and on our social media platforms. So please make sure you're connected. Ms. Schossenberg, the grade 12 guidance counselor, which is becoming the grade 9 guidance counselor, will have a Google Classroom set up for all of her students, and she will have reminds set up for all of her students so that it'll be very easy to get in touch with her as a student or a parent. So look for that. If you're not part of our family of schools right now, then you technically don't activate in our system until the first day of school. So you won't be able to access her Google Classroom, but we will share her remind information with you. And speaking of communication, if now more than ever during COVID, we've realized the importance of being connected for you to get information. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have reminds. There's all of the information that you could possibly need is available on social media, and that is one way that we communicate. We don't have announcements in the school, so every morning there's not announcements that play. We have the O Canada and the land acknowledgement, but that's it. We find announcements disruptive, and students are on their phones all the time, so we like to use our social media platforms for that. And parents, you can access that as well. So please make sure, even if you're not part of our school right now, that you are on our social media platforms. We really look forward to having your children here. I can't say enough about our school, our departments, our guidance department specifically as well, who is here to support you. We are very proud of the work that we do, and we absolutely cannot wait to meet our future bears. All of the information that you could wonder about, school clothing, course selection dates, communication points about registering, all of that is going to be messaged out when we have information about it. So please trust the process. We can't wait to see you. And if there's any questions, don't hesitate to email our guidance email. Thank you so much, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.